Good morning. So last class we have discussed different types of transformations. We have completed translation, rotation, scaling and shearing, and now we are moving on to the reflection. So the reflection produces a mirror image of an object. So the reflection can be generated to an axis of reflection by rotating 180 degree about the reflection axis. The axis of reflection can be on xy plane or it can be perpendicular to xy plane. So axis of reflection can be on xy plane or it can be perpendicular to xy plane. So in the case of both the cases, the rotation will take place in the rotation path either in xy plane or it is perpendicular to the xy plane. So based on this, further the reflections are categorized into different categories. Either you can perform reflection about a line y equal to 0, or this can be also be called as x-axis reflection with respect to x-axis. Then the second category is reflection about y-axis or x equal to 0. So let us have an example for this first category, which is reflection about x-axis. The x values are same. Let me draw a diagram. So this is the input objects we have. This is your original object. The coordinates, each and every pixel positions are called as xy coordinate values. Now after performing a reflection, you will be getting x dash y dash, which is a new coordinate value. It has the output as this way. Reflection with respect to x-axis. The object size will be same as such, the same, no difference. But when it comes to the coordinate value, x coordinate values are same, but y coordinate values are negative value. So we can represent the new coordinate value x dash equal to x and y dash equal to minus of y. This is the geometrical representation for reflection about y-axis, about x-axis. When it comes to reflection about x equal to 0, line x equal to 0 or y-axis, so the object is represented this way. So is the understanding? Just I'm numbering each and every endpoints. And the output after reflection will be this is y-axis reflection. So we from this diagram we can see that x value will be minus and your y value remains same. There is no change in the y value. And the third category is perpendicular to xy axis, reflection perpendicular to xy plane. In this case, both x and y values are going to be the sign change of both x and value will take place. The object is we will be getting the object like this. So x dash will be minus x and similarly y dash will be minus y. The fourth category is reflection axis as a diagonal line y equal to x. So in this category, we have an object here. So y equal to x is the reflection axis. Now with respect to this line, we are going to reflect it. So after reflection, we will be getting the object. So your x dash, new x dash coordinate value. This is new coordinate values. So our new coordinate values after it can be, or this is the object. After reflection, you will be getting this object. The new coordinate value x dash equal to x and y dash equal, sorry, x dash equal to y, and x dash equal to y and y dash equal to x. The value of x and y are interchanged in this case. When you perform a reflection, the reflection axis is considered as an y equal to x, then this x and y values are changed. So for performing this, what we need to do is the set of steps internally we are following here is, so first make the reflection axis. So this axis, either you can place this axis with respect to y-axis or x-axis. To do this, what we have to do, we need to rotate either this much angle or this much angle. Whatever angle we want, we can rotate it. If you rotate this theta degree in this direction, you will be making, which is in anti-clockwise direction, it will be, the line will be fixed with y-axis, and or if you make a theta degree in clockwise direction, the line, the reflection line will be fixed with x-axis. So we can either rotate it 45 degree in either clockwise or an anti-clockwise direction. If you rotate it in clockwise direction, the axis will be fixing with x-axis. So we need to perform rotation of 45 degree, either it can be plus or minus 45. Based on that, you will get a clockwise or an anti-clockwise direction. So let us consider we are using, let it be clockwise direction. So after rotating it in clockwise direction, this axis is now fixed with the x-axis. Now we can perform reflection with respect to x-axis. After reflecting it, now the reflection is performed with respect to the reference axis x-axis. So after reflection, again the object should be placed in an original place. So we need to perform an inverse rotation to keep the object in the original place, so that it will be giving us the reflection of, which is performed with respect to the line y equal to x. So inverse rotation we need to follow. So again we have to perform 45 degree in anti-clockwise direction. So the rotations will take place and finally you can get the object. Once you do this 3 set of instructions, you will be able to get the final reflected object. When you wanted to do it for anti-clockwise rotation, your theta will be positive, and when you wanted to do it for an clockwise direction, your theta will be negative theta. which is negative 45. This is positive 45 degree. And similarly, otherwise you can do with anti-clockwise direction, this which is plus 45 degree. So the axis will fix with, or the other way we can do is, we can do anti-clockwise rotation on anti-clockwise direction. And then perform reflection with respect to y-axis. Finally, perform the inverse rotation, which is clockwise rotation we need to follow. So either we can use this or this, 3 steps, whichever is convenient. So whatever steps you are using, you should be very clear that where you are fixing the axis, either in x-axis or y-axis. Based on that, reflection should be performed. For performing reflection with respect to y-axis or x-axis, already we have discussed, if you perform a reflection with the x-axis, your x value remains same, only the change in the y value. If you are performing a reflection with respect to y-axis, your y value is remains same and x value will be minus of x value you will get. Next, for 5th category, again it is a reflection line or reflection axis as a diagonal y equal to minus x. So y equal to minus x. So this is the reflection axis. Now you have an object. So after this, the object is this way after reflection. So here what is the value we will have? We have x, that is new coordinate value, and is x dash equal to minus of y and y dash equal to minus of x. So this is the value we have obtained. So here also the steps we need to follow is, either we can do a rotation clockwise or anti-clockwise rotation of 45 degrees, so that this axis will fit either with x or y axis, and then we can reflect with respect to the whichever axis we are fitting it, and then you can apply inverse rotation so that the object will be placed in the proper position. That output will be your final output for reflection with respect to the diagonal line y equal to minus x. 6th last reflection. We can perform reflection with respect to any line y equal to mx plus, rather taking a line, a diagonal line or something. We can use any line y equal to mx plus c. Reflection about a line y equal to mx plus c in the xy plane. So for this, we need to follow the set of steps, and finally we can able to perform this reflection. We cannot directly do that. So any line, this is the line y equal to mx plus c. Now you have an object. This object need to be reflected with respect to this line. So to perform this operation, what are all the steps we need to follow? The first step, so you translate this line such that it passes through the origin. So we have to translate it so that it will passes through the origin. So later we will be getting some line like this. It is passing through the origin. This is the first step. After performing the translation, we need to find the angle theta, or this angle you can find out, whichever angle you want you can find out. If you are finding out the angle theta, either this angle or this angle, you can perform, you need to fix this, you have to rotate it such that this axis will fix either with x or y axis. And once this is performed, you can perform the reflection. This reflection can be performed with respect to the corresponding axis. After the reflection is over, we need to perform the inverse rotation and then inverse translation. So this is the step we need to follow to perform the reflection about a line y equal to mx plus c. The first step we have to follow is translate the line, given line, such that it passes through the origin. Translate the line such that it should passes through the origin. The second step is rotate the line either in x or y axis. Rotate the line, rotate either theta 1 or theta 2, rotate the line with the angle theta, either it can be theta 1 or theta 2. After rotating it, we need to fix that in any of the ultimate aim is to fix the axis of the line into either x-axis or y-axis. Either you can use theta 1 or theta 2. If you use theta 1 degree and if you make it in clockwise or anti-clockwise direction, so based on that it will again changes. So either you can do in clockwise or anti-clockwise direction. So this angle, if you rotate it in clockwise direction, then it will fix with x-axis. Else, if you do this angle in clockwise direction and in anti-clockwise direction, that will fix in x-axis rotation. It will fix with x-axis. So we have to perform a rotation either with the theta degree, either in clockwise or anti-clockwise direction. If it is clockwise direction, that will be fixing with the axis, x-axis, and if you do it with anti-clockwise direction, that will fix with y-axis. Once this is over, we need to perform a reflection. Now the axis, the reflection axis is defined now. Either it will be with respect to the object will be reflected with the x-axis or y-axis. So to perform this, the reflection, what we need to perform is the reflection with either x or y-axis based on the previous scenario you have considered. Wherever you have fixed, based on that you need to do it. And once this is done, you have reflected the object, given object, in either x or y direction, but our aim is to reflect the object with respect to this line. That's why that's the reason we are following this step. So we need to perform the inverse operation. Perform inverse rotation. Either if already you have performed a clockwise, do a anti-clockwise. If you performed anti-clockwise, do a clockwise rotation. So perform inverse rotation, and once it is rotated, you need to translate the line to the back to the original position. The object will be translated to that position. So we need to perform inverse translation too. Earlier, if you have used tx ty factor, now it will be minus tx ty. So what it is an inverse translation we need to follow. Once you have followed this following step, obviously the object will be, when you translate this axis, obviously the object also should be translated. When you rotate this, object should be rotated. Everything we are performing with respect to the object. So finally, when you place the object in a position after the fifth step, the object will be placed. That will gives you a value x dash y dash, new coordinate value. We have started with the old coordinate xy, and later we have obtained a new coordinate value x dash y dash. This x dash y dash is a object which is reflected with respect to the given line y equal to mx plus c. So this set should be followed. And as we have already discussed the shearing. Shearing is the fifth transformations. Either we can do shearing with respect to x-axis or y-axis. Similarly, the shearing can be the previous two cases, the shearing with respect to x-axis and y-axis, we have done with the origin. And similarly, we can perform a shearing with respect to x-axis with some arbitrary point. So when we perform shearing with respect to some arbitrary point or a fixed point or a pivot point, the set of steps we need to follow, shearing, it's a continuation of shearing. So x-axis shearing with respect to the x-axis shearing, x direction shearing related to reference line or reference point. So let the reference point be x ref and f and yf. We are doing with respect to reference point. So same set of steps need to be followed here. The first is convert this reference point to the origin. So translate the reference point to origin, which will gives you a triple dash. And second step is perform the shearing with respect to x-axis. So x shearing we are performing. So earlier we have discussed what is the shearing. If you are performing with respect to x direction shearing, x dash equal to x plus shy, which shx, which is the shearing factor, into y. So what is the value for x and y? The previous translated value we need to use. So this is the value. What about the value of your y? Y is doesn't change. It is y as previous value we are considering. And then we need to perform an inverse translations to make the shearing in y-axis with respect to the reference point. So the third is the inverse translation, that is from origin to reference point we are transferring. So x dash you will be getting, y dash will be y x y x sorry yf plus this value, which is x double dash. X double dash can be replaced with f of y plus y into minus of y. This value you can substitute, so this will get cancelled, so you will be getting only getting only y. So after expanding this, you will be getting y dash equal to y and x dash. So here also we can perform the substitution. Xf plus x triple dash is substituted as x minus s xf plus sharing factor into y minus yf. So this will get cancelled. We will get x plus sharing factor into y minus yx. So this is the final form. So when we perform sharing in x direction related to some reference point or an arbitrary point, x, f and yf, we need to translate that point to origin, and then we have to perform sharing with respect to x-axis and again inverse translation. Similarly, the same thing can be applicable for y-axis also. Y direction sharing related to the reference point this. So same set of equations need to be, same set of steps need to be followed. First translate it and perform reflection with respect to, sharing with respect to y-axis, and then perform inverse translation. So directly I'm writing the final equation. Same way you can substitute it and you can derive it. You will be getting the equation. This is the final mathematical representation. So directly you can substitute and you can get the values here. So this both, when you substitute and you perform it, you will get the same results. So we have discussed different kinds of transformations, all related to 2D only. We have discussed right now. We started with the translation, rotation, and scaling. These three are the basic transformation, and the other transformations are reflection and shearing. So the reflections further categorized, or further we can make the reflection with respect to, either you can make the reflection with respect to x-axis or y-axis or perpendicular to xy plane, and based on the extension of this, either you can do the reflection axis as a diagonal, like y equal to x or y equal to minus x, and then we can perform, or we can perform reflection with respect to any line y equal to mx plus c. So when if it is in basic directly, either you are performing with respect to x-axis, y-axis, or perpendicular to xy axis, then you have a direct equation, you can substitute it. Else you have to follow the set of sequence to find out the equations. We have derived equations for if it is with respect to some arbitrary point. In the case of rotation shearing, we have discussed the equations also, and finally you are getting those equations by which we can obtain, or you can make the transformations. Homogeneous coordinates. So the basic transformations can be expressed in the form of general matrix. Whatever we have discussed, all this can be represented in the form of a matrix for easy computation. Before discussing about homogeneous coordinate, we will discuss what is the need for the matrix representation. So all these values, whatever we have discussed, transformation, everything can be represented in a matrix so that the operations, computations will be easier. We have composite transformations. The composite transformations are the transformations which uses us two, two or more transformations within it. So when you take a rotation with respect to some reference point, or shearing with respect to some relative point, or reflection with respect to diagonal line or line y equal to mx plus c, you can see we have followed a set. Either first you need to follow the translation and then rotation or reflection, or based on that we are doing it, and then we are performing the inverse rotation or translations based on the problem we are using it. So a set of steps need to be a set, two or more uh, transformations are combined to produce the final output. So this is called a composite transformations. So when you make this composite transformations, if you are making everything in a matrix form, then it is easy for computations. Rather than using sequentially, you can just multiply those matrices and we can get the result in a faster way. That's why we are representing everything in the form of a matrix. Again, what will happen when you perform this set of instruction? I'll tell you the difficulties, and then we are moving on to the homogeneous coordinates. So the matrix representation, either you can make as a column representation or it can be a row representation. Now let us take P. P is an input vector which has the coordinate value x and y. Similarly, P dash is the output vector we have obtained after performing the manipulation. We will get x dash and y dash. And we are trying to find out the other matrix that will represent a translation matrix or rotation matrix, or it can be a scaling matrix, or it can be a reflection matrix, or shearing matrix. So these are all the matrix we need to form. We need to find out. Already we have discussed how it is forming. We have discussed the equation. So based on this, we can make a matrix out of it. So whether it's a column or a row matrix. So I have represented as a column matrix. You can represent in the form of a row also. Whatever the way you want, you can represent it. So we can say P dash equal to P plus T. So P dash is x dash y dash x y, and we need to include the translation factor Tx and Ty. So the translation factor Tx, now if you compute x dash, which is x dash equal to x plus Tx, and y dash equal to y plus Ty. So we have obtained the equations. So mathematically we have represented in the earlier class. We have obtained the mathematical equation by using this term. So x dash equal to p plus t. So everywhere, if I'm talking about p dash, it's an output vector, and p is the input vector we have. Now coming to the first category, this is the first one. And the second is rotation. As we know that rotation uses, we need angle theta as an input. It uses x dash equal to x cos theta, y sin theta minus y sin theta, and y dash equal to x sin theta plus y cos theta. So we can represent the reflection matrix. This is your translation matrix. We can represent the reflection rotation matrix R as cos theta minus sin theta, cos theta. So the notation we can specify here is P dash equal to R into P. So this is in column wise representation, it is specified. Row wise, if you want, you can specify it. The value will be cos theta minus sin theta, cos theta you will obtain if you are using a row wise representation. Now P dash equal to R cos R into P. So when you compute R dash and X dash and Y dash, it's cos theta minus sin theta, cos theta, xy. So you can see if you multiply these two things, you will get x cos theta minus y sin theta, y dash equal to this related to x dash, and y dash equal to x sin theta plus y cos theta. We have obtained it. If you are representing in an row wise, sorry, this is column wise representation. If you are representing in row wise, you will have cos theta minus sin theta, cos theta. X is P is xy. We need to derive P dash, which is x dash y dash, which is equal to what we need to perform for this, which is equal to this value will be multiplied with this, which is x cos theta minus y sin theta, again x sin theta plus y sin theta. So we can represent this as P into R. This is P dash. P dash equal to P into R. So see the difference when you make a row wise or a column wise. If it's a column wise, your P dash equal to R into P. If it's a row wise, your P dash equal to P multiplied with R. So keep in mind that what is the notation you are using, how you are representing it. Either it's a column wise or a row wise. Based on that, it is reflecting in the results. So be careful with representations. And the third is scaling. Scaling, it uses a scaling factor Sx and xy. As we know that x dash equal to x into scaling factor Sx, y dash equal to y into Sy. So we can represent the scaling matrix as so you will get S into P. Here P dash equal to this multiplied with x, y. Column wise I am representing. So you will be able to get x dash equal to, after multiplication you can able to get x dash equal to x into Sx and y dash equal to y into xy. When it comes to reflection part, the reflection matrix we need to represent for different categories. 5 different categories we have discussed. For all the categories we need to discuss what is the matrix. First is with respect to reflection of line y equal to 0 or x-axis. As we discussed with respect to x-axis, We know that x dash equal to x and y value is negative of y value. So the matrix we can represent as 1, 0, 0, minus 1. This is the reflection matrix we have. And we can represent this P dash equal to reflection matrix multiplied with P. So with this you can multiply x and y with column wise. You will get x dash equal to x dash equal to x, and similarly y dash equal to minus y. So this is the reflection matrix for x-axis. Similarly for y-axis, the reflection matrices. It is well known that y value is same and x value is minus. So this is the value we have used, matrix representation column wise. Similarly, perpendicular to xy plane, the reflection is both x and y values are negative. And fourth case, reflection of about a diagonal line y equal to x. In that case, your x value and y values are interchanged. So this position is 0 and these positions are interchanged. If it is y equal to minus x, the values are interchanged along with the sign change. So this is the value you will get, x dash equal to minus y and y dash equal to minus x. So this is the value we have for a reflection matrix value we have represented. And the fifth one is shearing. Shearing, we have a shearing factor of SHX and SHY. The shearing matrix is represented as with respect to so all this are the matrix representation. Shearing matrix with respect to x-axis, x direction shearing. Matrix we have obtained as 1, SH, a 0 and 1. So multiply this with, which is P, which is the input xy. You can able to get x dash y dash. X dash y dash is x dash equal to x plus shx into y and y dash equal to y. So this is the shearing matrix for y direction shearing, and similarly for x direction shearing. This is your shearing matrix with respect to x, with respect to y. One, 0, shearing value of y and 1. So when you use this x dash equal to, you will get x and y dash equal to x multiplied with the shearing factor of y plus y you will obtain. So generally speaking, this is also P dash we are obtaining with the shearing either in x or y direction multiplied with P. Either x or y direction. So this matrix representations are useful when we make any transformations. So we have discussed what is the equations we have to use for the transformations, and similarly we have discussed how those can be represented in a form of a matrix. That will be very much useful for further problem solvings. Now coming back to the homogeneous coordinates. In the case of an homogeneous coordinates, uh, we are going to represent the matrix. Now you can see the matrix representations are of different types. In the first case, you can see in the case of translation. So this is the matrix we have, translation matrix. It's a vector, but when it comes to one rotation, it's a matrix, 2 cross 2 matrix. And again, when it comes to scaling, matrix, reflection and shearing, it's a matrix. So when you perform the composite transformations, the main advantage why we are making it in the form of a matrix is for making the operations multiply every values so that we can get the final result as at a stretch. So here they are not in an uniform. When we make a multiplication, here it is not, the size of the matrix are different, and also this uses addition, remaining cases uses the multiplication operation. So it's very difficult to perform the operations. To avoid this, we are trying to make out this into an everything into one homogeneous coordinates. We are making everything in a common coordinates. How we are going to make this homogeneous coordinates? So generally speaking, we have generally representing, we use p dash, some factors we are using. Let it be translation followed by rotation followed by inverse translation. This is the fact we are using. So when we talk about the matrix representation, it is an vector. The value is an vector for this, and it is a matrix. Again, it is an vector. Along with this, we need to multiply the p value. P is the input value. So when once the translation matrix, rotation matrix and the inverse translation matrix, if you perform it, you will get it. But when you wanted to perform translation and rotation operations with this, what will happen to this? It will use as an addition operation rather than multiplications. These two, the translation factor plus p we are using. It is not a multiplication. Whereas when it comes to rotation, it's a multiplication factor. So it's very difficult to perform the operations. To make it into one general format, which is everything we are trying to make out into an same number of values, so that we can perform the entire thing as a multiplication operation, so that the process will be very easier to do this process. So this will eliminate the intermediate calculation. Directly you can find out the final value p dash by multiplying this one, rather doing adding a value into a translation factor, then rotating and then using an inverse translation. We can directly get the result p dash by computing just a multiplication. To do this, what we are going to do is combine the multiplicative and the translation terms of 2D geometric transformation into one single matrix representation by expanding 2 cross 2 into 3 cross 3 matrix. So we have discussed rotation, all other transformations uses in 2 cross 2 matrix that we are expanding into a 3 cross 3. We are going to add one more row and column value. That row and column value is an homogeneous column representation. How we are representing? We have a pixel xy, coordinate position xy with this is the pixel we have considered. Now this is 2 cross 2. We are trying to make this into an 3 cross 3. So how we are going to make this? This pixel position, two values are we are making into an homogeneous coordinate value. We are making into one more value we have adding, that is an have homogeneous coordinate value. Now this is represented in the form of an homogeneous coordinate. This is an coordinate position, or you can call it as an pixel position. Coordinate position of an any pixel or any point. This is an coordinate homogeneous coordinate for the corresponding point xy. Now we can say the homogeneous coordinate or h can be converted into an homogeneous coordinate hx, or from, if you know this, you can able to derive the coordinate value, or if you have this, you can able to make out a homogeneous coordinate value. So x equal to hx by h, and similarly y equal to hy by h. And as I told you, vice versa, you can get it. You can get h of x of h by multiplying x with h, homogeneous factor. So either thing are same. The h value, what should be the h value? H can be any value. It should not be a 0. Any value you can use it for, any non-zero value you can use it. So why it should be a non-zero value? If you use a 0 when you use 0, what will happen to this term? This term will get this denominator 0. If you put it, become infinitive. So that h value should not be an 0 value. It should be an any value. For simplicity's sake, we can use h equal to 1, so that the computation will be very simple, because x equal to whatever you are going to multiply or divide, it is going to be 1 only. So it is very easy. So you can say x, y, any value you can consider, that doesn't matter. For simplicity, we are using h equal to 1. If the pixel value is xy, we can represent this pixel or the coordinate value in the homogeneous coordinate by using this. So hx you have obtained by using this x multiplied with h. So x multiplied with h is x itself, and this value is y multiplied with h, and again it is y. H is 1. So we have obtained a value. This is, we can see this value. From this we have obtained it. So this 2D coordinate is now converted into the homogeneous coordinate with h value as 1 here. Now we can represent all the representation, translation, scaling, rotation, all these in the form of an homogeneous coordinate. So as we know that x dash y dash equal to, let me talk with respect to rotation first, and then we will move on to the this is the case we have. So we have cos theta minus sin theta, cos theta, and we have xy. This was the equations, matrix representations we have with respect to the rotation. Now we are converting this point into an homogeneous point. This is x dash y dash, or xy is converted into an homogeneous coordinate. So the homogeneous coordinate after conversion, we will get x h x y, h value is 1. And this also should be written in the form of an 3 cross 3 matrix. So we have cos theta minus sin theta such that the equation doesn't affect it. This is also represented in homogeneous coordinate. Now you can see x dash equal to x cos theta minus y sin theta. This term becomes 0. And similarly this. And when you perform this one, nothing will happen. You will get only 1 here. So that one will be the final y value, which is equal to 1. Now we are getting the we have converted the given 2 cross 2 into one homogeneous, 3 cross 3, and these pixel values are converted into one homogeneous coordinates. This is for rotation. When it comes to scaling, P dash will be, now this become your P dash and this is your P now with respect to homogeneous coordinate. Now I'm writing only the scaling matrix. So 2D is converted into 3D such that the values should not affect it. Now this is the scaling factor in 3 cross 3 representation. You can multiply x, y here. You will be, once you multiply, you will get x dash equal to x into x, y dash equal to y into y, and 1 you will have as such after multiplication. Coming to translation part. Now everything is multiplication. We know that only translation is an addition. To avoid that addition only, we are converting everything into one homogeneous coordinate and representing 3 cross 3. So to make our process very simple, now we are representing this vector. Earlier we had as a vector, that vector into one 3 cross 3 matrix such that the value doesn't affect it. Now this is the translation matrix we have. Now you can apply P dash equal to T into P, you will get T into P. So you can apply this and you can use x, y, 1. So we can get x dash equal to, so x plus tx, the condition is satisfied. Similarly, y dash equal to, this term becomes 0, y plus ty, okay, clear, and the last value will be, these two terms will be 0 and y will get 1. So we are getting the same values. Now we have converted this into one multiplication factor instead of an addition. And similarly, we can do we can represent shearing and reflection as a homogeneous 3 cross 3 instead of 2 cross 2. You can write it as in 3 cross 3 by including 0, 0, 1, 0, 0. We can include it and we can get the 3 cross 3 matrix. Yes, when it comes to this, so we can add append 0, 0, 1, 0, 0 to make it as in 3 cross 3 for scaling, shearing and reflection. For all we can do it and we can get the final 3 by 3 matrix. Thank you.